Welcome back, everybody, and happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecasts, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. They are linked as usual for you guys in the description to this video. They help us make these videos possible, so big shout out to them. Go ahead and check them out if you guys are interested. So, Denver, 2 days in a row of 4-star maps, and it's actually like the last time you guys got 4-star maps. It was like back to back. It's kind of similar for this week. So we're going to recap 4-star map number 2 from yesterday at the top of our show here, and then we're going to go into today's risk. It has shifted east off of the Front Range for the most part. Cheyenne area, you guys are still in it, but now it's more of a high plains risk for today for large hail, but we also have high winds and tornadoes possible. So we're going to cover all of that, get into tomorrow as well when like Des Moines area and out in the Midwest could have a risk, and then ending it as usual with the tropical check-in and just watching Cindy and Brett now bopping around the Atlantic. So talking about all that here in a second, but before we get into our weather, we are going to be at the Atlas All-Star Stadium Tour in Philly next. That is on the 28th. So if you guys are in or around Philadelphia and you want to come say hey to the Hail Trace gang, there's going to be prizes there. It's a great time, and if you can't make that one, no worries, because we will be all over the nation lasting through August. So you'll have plenty of chances to see us. So that's coming up. And then getting into yesterday. So there was a ton of hail and wind reports across the nation, most notably through this corridor here all the way from the high plains through the southeast. But people that saw the most impacts were definitely through the Front Range. So if you guys are pretty much just north of Colorado Springs through like Woodmore and then north into the south suburbs of Denver, that's when it got real busy for a spell yesterday. Right near the end of your work day, started seeing that large hail moving through, and we did in fact get a 4-star map out of that as it passed again just south of the Denver metro for yesterday. So taking a look at the south end of our swaths here, this is what we had from yesterday's evening storms. Started out in Black Forest with 2.5 inch hail through a couple areas there. And you know, the Calhan area just south of Kiowa, Palmer Lake, you guys got some severe hail, but most notably Black Forest area got that large hail just north of Colorado Springs. And then working your way up north, that's where, you know, a ton of people saw effects from this storm. Starting off yet again in Evergreen with that large hail, then moving to 2.5 inch hail into the Morrison area. They got hit pretty hard in Morrison, got a lot of pictures out of that region for super large hail, people, you know, holding like baseball or, you know, tennis ball, I guess, sized hail through Morrison. Then it tracked through, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing these, but Ken Carroll, and then into Centennial, and tapered off as it moved through there. But we got a tornado that tracked through, oh shoot, I forget the city name here, but just north of Castle Pines north, and as it tracked through, it also started to intensify, dropping larger hail, heading into Castle Pines north, into Parker, the Pinery area, and then Ponderosa Park. So lots of areas hit by that large hail yesterday. Got it up to a 4-star map from 218,000 plus people seeing impacts from that large hail. Max size on that was 2.5 inches, and that was again through Morrison as well as parts of the northern Colorado Springs suburbs, like the Black Forest area. So if you guys are interested in that map, scan that QR code up above me or click the link in our description if you don't already have Hail Trace products. If you do, the map name is Littleton, Morrison, Parker, Black Forest, Colorado Hail, and you guys can access that today through our website. So go ahead and check that out if you're in the Denver area. And now, taking a well-deserved break from the hail for the Front Range, now it's going to be high plains, as well as maybe a little bit in Oklahoma. We're under a severe thunderstorm watch here in Oklahoma City at the Hail Palace from this storm complex that's tracking through. It's been really similar, again, for the past, it's been very repeat risks lately, with you'll get these morning complexes for the past few days tracking through Oklahoma and Texas, and then the outflow from that gets us more severe weather that's going to be popping up through the high plains and, the Texas Panhandle into later today. But for now, watching this for potential high winds mostly. It's already been doing 60, 65 mile an hour gusts and some quarters here and there. So watching that moving into the Oklahoma City metro. Then moving on up into the North Plains. We're pretty clear in the central area, but up here we've got more scattered showers and cloud cover moving through and potential to see more storms developing here near Wyoming, near South Dakota later on this afternoon and evening. So those are kind of our two areas of concern right now. And again, it's due to this trough. See, now it's made its way over the mountains and is starting to disturb that nice warm air out in the central plains here. 82 degrees in Dallas, 87 in Minneapolis. It's warmer in Minneapolis right now than it is in Dallas-Fort Worth. And so this is where we're going to be getting more storms later on into tomorrow. And today it's going to be all through this area where we're starting to see that cold weather push through, or relatively cold weather. So here's what our significant hail model is showing for us, just kind of our potential hail size model here, where we've got these largest or brightest colors here. That's where we'll have our largest values possible, starting out around 4 p.m. for storm initiation. So those are going to roll through the Texas High Plains area, through Amarillo, Lubbock region, and then by 7, that's really when we're going to see our hail size potential maximized here. We're going to have the most daytime heating left over with those storms tracking into it, most forcing, so we get the highest hail potential possible all the way from parts of Wyoming down into Texas and Oklahoma's panhandles for this evening. And then, things are going to track eastward. They're kind of even away at that instability. Sun goes down, so we see these model values tapering off. But that's going to leave us with this in the northern plains, all right? So again, we've got scattered showers and clouds through the area right now. Not really going to change much. We're going to see very messy storm mode up through the northern plains into this afternoon and evening. Here we are by 6 p.m. Got some storms that are trying to go isolated through Wyoming, through Montana, and a couple forming in and around the Cheyenne Rapid City corridor. We get some large hail off of those, and then as they track northeast, again, it's going to stay very messy with storm mode, but Rapid City could take a hit with some high winds as well as potential severe hail around the midnight hour with just a ton of clusters tracking through central South Dakota, western Nebraska into tomorrow morning, and then this starts to form a wind-producing complex as it tracks over Sioux Falls and into Iowa and Minnesota for tomorrow's risk. Then down south, it's going to be a lot more scattered, so less storm coverage, so we can't put anybody in like a particularly high risk. But that also means that storms are going to be staying more isolated and have a better chance at producing that large hail. So watching these around 5 p.m., forming just to the west of Amarillo and Lubbock, and then hopping into Amarillo, possibly producing more of a wind-producing band. You guys have really just kind of threaded the needle between every single hail-producing storm in the Texas Panhandle so far this year. So we'll see, Amarillo, what happens with this, but right now it's looking more like wind tracking into Amarillo. And then again, models are not picking up on that complex in Oklahoma City right now, but that also has a chance to be producing some severe weather as it tracks eastward. So we got to keep that in mind. But as these go up around 6 p.m., they're going to continue to track eastward and form another band that could potentially dive south into DFW for tomorrow morning with some strong winds as well. So that's kind of your situation for the Texas Panhandle area. So here's your hail risk. Could see some large hail down here with those isolated storms. And then we just have a ton of storm coverage, ton of instability up near Nebraska, South Dakota, and Wyoming. So some larger hail values possible, but again, it's going to be brief. It's going to be more short-lived than down in the high plains, if that makes sense. So Rapid City, you got the best chance. You got a ton of storm coverage tracking over you on our forecast model, so you have the best chance of seeing severe hail into today. Casper is in a moderate for seeing severe, and then everybody else in a low. And then again, this corridor here is where we could potentially see a very brief spell of 2.5 inch hail into this afternoon and evening. Then working our way down, Colby, Kansas got a low chance all the way to the Red River to see quarters to $50 at least. And then some larger hail possible here near the Panhandle, though it is going to be a little more isolated, and Amarillo could potentially be producing at this point more of a windstorm for you guys. So moderate chance of seeing severe weather, maybe quarters, and again, anywhere in here could be potentially seeing ping pong to golf ball sized stones with those initial storms forming. Then for wind, gonna extend it back here a little bit into Montana and Wyoming, and then we gotta really account for that band that forms later tonight and then kind of races off to the east towards Minnesota and Des Moines for tomorrow morning. So gotta hatch that for wind into today. And then again, accounting for that band through Dallas, Fort Worth, and Oklahoma City. So if you're in Billings, moderate chance for you guys to see some strong winds with the storms moving northward over you guys. And then best chances again gonna be for Rapid City and parts of central South Dakota as well as northern Nebraska, and moderate for you guys in Sioux Falls. Low end chance where storms are more scattered on the south end of our risk, all the way down again through Oklahoma City now, through DFW, through San Angelo, and Amarillo again is holding down the fort with the best chances of seeing severe weather into today. Then for tornadoes, sticking into the northern corridor here of our risk area where we have more isolated cells, we have a lot of shear, so a lot of rotation in the atmosphere that could potentially get us some drop-in tornadoes. So Rapid City, Casper, and Cheyenne, you guys are in that risk area. It's low. Again, large hail and tornadoes, it's going to be a brief period of that, but it's still a chance nonetheless. So if you guys are in that risk area or any of those today, stay tuned and we'll keep you updated. But into tomorrow, we'll have that complex driving east. There it goes, making its way through Des Moines and trying to make its way into La Crosse by around 10 a.m. Should kind of taper off, but the outflow from that, like it's doing in Oklahoma City right now, the outflow from that is going to produce more severe storms along the south end of it, and you're going to again get more warm air influence coming out of the south, the cold air influence, and you're going to get storms popping up in that region. Now, anything that does stay isolated could potentially produce some very large hail again through the Midwest area, particularly Des Moines. Check out the storm coverage over that region, and then Davenport, caught myself, as those track off to the east. So potential to see some high winds as well as large hail through there. And we could see that line kind of extending down southeastward through Missouri. We're going to have to keep watching that, but there is currently a potential for hail down that way as well. So that leads us with this hail risk all the way from central Minnesota down into southern Missouri here. Low end chance for most of us except for Des Moines and Davenport to see severe hail. And again, those isolated cells that form initially in the afternoon could potentially produce some very large hail like we've been seeing for the past few days. So 2 to 2.5 inch is on the board for this moment, extending eastward with that ping pong to golf ball size risk until we get in and out of the Davenport area and into Illinois. And then again, it should kind of shift towards more of a wind risk. Then for wind, it's going to look very similar for our just overall wind risk. 60-mile-an-hour gusts possible here and there through any of those areas. And then we also have tornadoes on the table for tomorrow. Really, it's going to be kind of the Des Moines show at this point, and it's really going to depend on where that system tracks tonight. So we'll keep guys updated. But right now, it's looking like Des Moines is going to be in the center of all this for tomorrow with the potential to see some tornadoes through central Iowa to Star Charles afternoon. So that's what we got going on land, and then out in the Atlantic, we're going to leave you with Cindy and Brett. This was Tropical Depression 4 yesterday. It has now formed into Cindy, all the way up to a tropical storm, doing 50-mile-an-hour winds currently. Looks like it's probably going to reach its peak at later Saturday, 65-mile-an-hour winds on that, really kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's going to continue to lift up to the northwest, and then trying to make its way out towards like the Bahamas, but it's really not going to make it all the way out there. Again, we got some wind shear issues we're working with out this way, so the odds of this continuing to intensify and track towards the U.S. is pretty low right now. Should taper off by around midweek next week. Then for Brett, already in that wind shear and already on its way down in intensity, 60-mile-an-hour winds right now, so still severe, but as it tracks off to the east, you see those wind speeds start to come down and should be a subtropical low tracking towards Central America by Sunday, but it shouldn't make it out that way yet. So still waiting on any landfall from these guys. They've just kind of been hanging out in the Atlantic, and honestly, that's a good place for them. So we'll keep you guys updated again on everything that happens, hail, wind, tornado, hurricane. We're here talking to you guys about it, so you can go ahead and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. Smash that subscribe bell or button, I guess, on YouTube, and hit the notification bell. And then we also go live with storm coverage on TikTok pretty consistently. You can ask us questions there, so go ahead and check us out on TikTok. Then if you want to get in contact with us, you can go ahead and scan that QR code up above me, click the link in our description for access to our products and to sign up for a demo. And if you have more questions, give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And you guys have an excellent week. Enjoy your weekend. And for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.